Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today we're doing an easy flow for beginners. So this is perfect even if you've never done yoga before. We're going to start with seated poses, then move into standing, and then back lying down. Start in a child's pose, knees and toes together, forehead to the ground, reaching the arms alongside the legs. I'm not using props for this practice, but if you have a block or two around, you can keep it close by. Relax the neck, let the head be heavy, and allow the shoulders to drop. Start to connect to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, letting go of any tension you might be holding on to here. So all of our movements will be slow and controlled. And that should make it easier for us to control our breathing as well. So stay here for another few moments. Let's come up onto hands and knees. Palms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, and we'll take cat and cow. So on the inhale, you just drop your belly, lift the gaze up. And then on the exhale, you're rounding your spine, dropping the chin to the chest. See if you can keep your elbows straight as you move in and out of these two poses. Put a little bit more weight into the fingertips and knuckles, and into the tops of the feet. Take another round, so we're warming up the spine. Come back to neutral, and we'll do cat and cow with the legs as well. So inhale, drop the belly and reach your right heel up. And as you exhale, round the spine and bring your knee to your nose. Do that 2 more times. So inhale, right leg lifts, looking up. Exhale, bring the knee to nose, round the back. 1 more time. Inhale to reach. Exhale, squeeze it in. You're using your core here. And then look forward, step your right foot in between the palms for a low lunge. And we'll keep our fingertips down on the mat here. So either palms flat on the tips of the fingers, or you can make some fists as well if your wrists are sensitive. Inviting the left hip flexors to open up and stretch a little more. Heart is pulling forward. Notice your breath even in this pose. Walk the hands back as you straighten your right leg, fold forward. So this is half splits. You might not be folding down all the way. You might need to stay upright, maybe with your hands on your hips or using a block. And feel free to bend your right knee as much as you need to here. We're not trying to force the hamstrings to open. Bend into your right knee once more, and we're going to come back into our tabletop pose. Switching sides, cat and cow with the left leg. So inhale, reach the left heel up, and then exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. Inhale, extend it back. Exhale, squeeze it in, press into the fingertips. 1 more, inhale to reach. Exhale, bring it through, and then look past your hands to step the left foot forward. Both feet are hip width distance apart, low lunge on the second side. So 1 long line from the crown of the head all the way down into the tailbone. Over time, the hips will drop a little bit lower. Try not to lift the shoulders up too high to the ears. Keep them relaxed. And let's make our way into our half splits. Straighten your left leg and start to fold. Again, don't worry about how far down you get. Doesn't really matter. As long as you get a nice little stretch at the back of the left leg into the hamstrings, that's all we're looking for here. Smooth, steady breaths in and out through the nose. Square off the hips and the shoulders. Bend into your left knee, back into our tabletop pose. We're going to come into puppy pose here, so just walk your hands forward until the chest and the forehead starts to reach down towards the mat. So our hips are staying high up over the knees. We're trying to get a stretch into the chest, armpits, shoulders. Fingertips are spreading nice and wide. And feel the lower belly draw in and up so that there's a lot of support in the lower back. Careful not to put too much pressure on your neck here. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Start to lift back up. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders again and lean your hips forward. We're going to lower all the way down to the belly, nice and slow. Elbows draw in, heart reaches forward, lower your push-up controlled until the belly comes down towards the mat. And we'll work on strengthening the back here. I'm going to move my cat out of the way, blocking the view. We'll take 3 baby cobras. So as you inhale, chin, chest, and palms lift up. Exhale, set back down. Inhale, lift the upper body, keep your feet on the ground. And then exhale to lower. So only back strength here. Inhale, come on up one last time. Exhale, set back down. This time plant your palms underneath the shoulders and take cobra. So chin and chest lift up. You're using a little bit of arm strength here as well as back strength. Elbows will need to stay bent and pulling in towards the sides of the ribs. And let's lower all the way down. Interlace your fingers behind your lower back, coming into locust. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you and lift the upper body. This is option 1. If you want to challenge yourself further, lift your legs as well. Remember, we're not holding our breath. We're not clenching the jaw. We want to make this as relaxed as possible. And release. Let's lift back up onto hands and knees. Curl the toes under and we'll take downward dog. So downward dog, you'll want your feet hip-width distance apart and your palms about shoulder-width distance apart. Spread the fingertips wide so that the middle fingers are roughly pointing up to the top of the mat, and bend your knees a lot. You really don't need to worry too much about how close your heels are to the ground. Instead, imagine that you were lengthening your spine here, relaxing the neck, letting the head be heavy, reaching the hips up and back. And you can do any little movements that feel good here. Look to the top of the mat and take little steps until your feet come to the top of the mat. Keep them about hip-width distance apart, maybe a little wider. Forward fold. Bend your knees a lot. So this is Ragdoll pose. We're holding on to opposite elbows to help give the upper body a little bit more traction to release and lengthen the spine. You can rock gently from side to side or front to back, just noticing how you tend to distribute your weight in the feet. Hands on your shins. Inhale, come on halfway, chest parallel to the ground. And then exhale, soften the knees and fold. 2 more times like this. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Last one. Inhale, fingertips on the shins, look forward, lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees a little bit more, bring your big toes together. Let's come up into chair pose. Bend your knees a lot, drop the hips, and bring your hands at your heart. Strengthening the quads and the glutes. Try to keep the chest lifted, shoulders soft. Put a little more weight into the heels. Come out of the pose by straightening the legs, hands on the hips. Keep your right foot forward, step the left foot back. Left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat for warrior 2. So right knee will need to bend as you press that right knee open. Left leg is straight. Extend the arms out. You're aligning your front heel with the middle of the back arch. And you're aligning your shoulders directly over the hips. Spreading fingers, hips, and toes. Bring your left hand on your waist. Right arm reaches up. This is exalted warrior, or some people call it reversed warrior. Come back into your warrior 2. Straighten your right leg, and then turn your heels in, toes out. Bending into your knees, this is temple pose. We're going to interlace our fingers and flip the palms so we can reach our arms up overhead. Both knees are bent here, and you're trying to press both knees open. External hip rotation on both sides. Tailbone draws down, lower belly hugs in. Hands on your hips, straighten the legs. Bring both feet parallel to the short edges of your mat and fold forward. So wide-legged forward fold, you might need to bend your knees a lot here. And I'm just going to keep my fingertips to the ground so I can relax the neck and the head. Let the upper back soften a little bit. Lift your chest up halfway and start to walk your palms back towards the top of the mat. Lift your back heel off the ground, bend into your right knee for a lunge. And just keep your knee lifted off the ground here, fingertips to the mat, stretching even deeper into our hip flexors. So a little challenging transition, we're going to step to the top of the mat to fold forward. Ragdoll pose once more, holding onto the elbows, bending into the knees a little bit, letting the upper body hang. Bring your fingertips back on the ground, big toes together. We're coming back to chair pose. So knees bend a lot so that you can drop your hips and put a little more weight into the heels with your hands at your heart. Chest is proud and lifted. Always reminding yourself to come back to your breath. Straighten the legs. Let's take warrior two on the second side. So keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back to the back of the mat, parallel to the short edge. You're pressing your left knee open and reaching out through the arms. Palms are facing down, fingertips are spreading wide. See if you can keep your left thigh about parallel to the ground, so really bending quite generously in that left knee. Exalted warrior, right hand on your hip, left arm reaches up. Back to our warrior two, straighten your left leg, temple pose. Heels are in, toes are out, both knees bend. And same thing here, we're going to interlace our fingers, flip the palms, and lift the arms up overhead, biceps along the ears. The tendency here is for our knees to buckle inwards. See if you can engage your glutes to help them keep pressing up. Hands on your waist, straighten the legs. Feet parallel to the short edges of your mat as you fold forward. Same variation here, I'm just dropping the palms towards the mat. Feel free to bend the knees or widen or narrow your stance, depending on how open your hamstrings are today. Lift the chest up halfway and start to walk your hands to the top of the mat. Lift your back heel off the ground. Bend into your left knee for your lunge with your fingertips down. Pull the chest forward. And instead of stepping to the top of the mat, we're going to plant our hands down and come into our tabletop pose. From here, let's extend our right arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, swing your right arm through until your right shoulder and ear can drop down on the ground. This is called thread the needle. So a nice little twist. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Hips are still stacked over the knees. Press into your left hand to come back to tabletop pose, and we'll switch sides. Left arm up. And then swing your left arm through to drop the shoulder and the ear down on the mat. Twisting on the second side. Come on back up. Move the ankles out of the way. We're going to come to seated in a butterfly fold. So soles of the feet will come to touch, knees fall apart. Start with a nice long flat back and then fold all the way down. Again, it doesn't matter how low you get. Don't worry too much about it. Try not to push and pull or force your body into any shape it might not be ready to take just yet. Try to let gravity do the work for you. Start to walk your palms in, lift the chest up. And just come into an easy cross-legged pose. We'll finish off with a twist here. So you'll need to bring your left hand over the right knee, right fingertips behind you a little bit. As you inhale, reach the crown of the head up towards the sky, and on the exhale, move into your twist. And release. Switch sides. Right hand over your left knee, left fingertips behind you. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper by drawing the lower belly in and pulling that left shoulder back. So you're opening up the chest. And let's release. Lower all the way down onto your back and keep your knees bent, feet flat on the mat, about hip width distance apart. Coming up into bridge pose, start to press your feet into the ground and lift your hips and lower back off the mat. Keep your knees about hip width distance apart and relax the arms and the upper body. Let this be about your legs and lower body only. Unwind and release back down. Squeeze your knees in towards your chest, maybe rock gently a few times. Any little movements that you need to do here. We're gonna come into our final resting pose, setting up for Shavasana. Straightening out the legs and the arms, taking up lots of space, maybe allowing the eyes to close. So if this was your first time doing a yoga class, use these last few moments here to do a little bit of a body scan. You want to notice how you feel now as opposed to when you first stepped onto your mat. Notice the quality of your breath and the quality of your focus and attention. Try to soften into this pose, relaxing the muscles around the eyes and the mouth, letting the shoulders and the hips be nice and heavy. Enjoying being here, knowing that there's absolutely nothing for you to do other than relax and let go. I encourage you to stay here for as long as you would like. Thank you so much for doing this practice with me. If you enjoyed it, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, like the video. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you all so much. Namaste.